Hi there, I'm the Moose, and today you're joining me on a crazy crafting adventure as I try to make a Silkie from Teen Titans Go. Silkie is like a worm, lobster, crab thing. I don't know exactly what Silkie is, but we're going to try to make Silkie. So I've got some pink fabric, I've got some tights left over from when my kids were little. This is going to be Silkie's main body. I've got some string. I don't have a needle. I have a needle, I have thread, I have scissors. I'm not using my sewing machine with this. Well, maybe I'll give up and use it later, but I'm going to try not to use my sewing machine with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these tights. I'm going to figure out how long I want Silkie's body to be. And, well, this is kind of a Silkie mashup between the Teen Titans and the Teen Titans Go. I don't know exactly what it'll end up looking more like. Probably like the Teen Titans version because instead of the Teen Titan Go, because that one seems a little easier. So what we've got here is just a tight about the length of my hand. It's pink tight, somewhat transparent. And then we're going to need to make legs. How many legs does Silkie have? Alright, so I figured out how many legs Silkie has, which is as many as I want. Because the Teen Titans Go version has 3 on each side, and the Teen Titans version has like a ton. So I drew out a little Silkie. I'm going to do 4 legs on each side, and I moved ahead. What I did was, with the extra fabric that was left here, I cut out strips that were about as thick as my finger, just straight across. Then I fold it in half and cut it straight across. So now I have a little leg. Well, once I sew it, I'll have a little leg. But I'm just going to sew straight down the other side. So I'm going to leave one side open. The one side's already closed for us. And that looks a little bit like this when I'm done. And I'm going to flip that right side out. And then we'll attach it to the body. And then just keep on moving from there. And yes, you can see by these stitches, I did not hand stitch these. I started thinking about how much sewing that would be, and then I gave up and went and got my sewing machine. Silkie's legs are on. They did kind of turn out a little bit crooked, but I'm hoping once he's all stuffed, I don't know what Silkie is. Once it is all stuffed, you won't be able to tell so much. So I've got this dark pink fabric for Silkie's dark pink areas. So I'm going to do the little pinchers on the back of Silkie, and then I'm going to stuff Silkie and sew up the bottom. And when I sew up the bottom, obviously I'm going to start with him wrong side out. I'm going to sew it up most of the way, and I'm going to curve it a little bit because the bottom of Silkie kind of is rounded. It's not squared off like this. So I'm going to sew side, side, and then I'm going to put the pincher in and then sew that. But we need to make the pincher first. So I'm just going to cut 2 small rectangles out, and then I'm going to cut an exaggerated pincher shape because we're going to sew it and then flip it, which means we need seam allowance. I think it'll be easier to sew on all the details once Silkie is stuffed. I could be terribly wrong. So I've made this kind of flipper thing, and I'm going to sew it to a point and then flip it right side out, and I will show you what that looks like. Alright, I finished sewing, and I'm just kind of cutting off a little bit of this excess fabric, but this is what it looks like. I left the top open. I forgot to mention that. That's where you stuff it. Flipping. Okay, well, you get the general idea of what's going on here. And this is going to be attached to the back. I'm going to curve off the sides. Obviously, I'm going to stuff him, and then I'll show you what we've got going on. Okay, so the pincher is now attached, and I also have all the little arms attached. I'm thinking that I should have put them down a little bit lower so that they don't stick out when the Silkie is laying flat, but oh well. Now we're going to work on the bands, and I stuffed as well. Now we're going to work on the bands that go along the back, and so for that I cut out this little strip that lays almost all the way to the legs. Not all the way, but almost. What I'm going to do is round out the corners. So now instead of a rectangle we have an oval kind of thing. Going to fold it in half, cut the middle out so we have a lovely O. So it looks like that. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Ta-da! And so that these will be laid on the Silkie's back. Something like that. And I'm going to sew those in place by hand stitching them. Alright, so I finished sewing on all the pink things, the decoration on the back. I probably should have used a darker color of pink, but by the time I thought about it, I had already finished one of them, and I was like, it's too late now. But so there we have a Silkie. So now I'm going to move on to the eyes, and what I did was I took some fabric and I've cut it out into little squares like this that are ginormous. And what I'm going to do is roll the fabric underneath as I'm sewing it down, and that's going to kind of give it a raised look, and also make it into a circle. Let me see if I can get it kind of, so it'll look kind of like that, kind of. And I might end up sticking a little bit of stuffing in there, so I'm going to start putting it down and I'll see how it looks, and if it needs some stuffing I'll stick some stuffing in there, and I can show you how to do that if I end up doing that. But yeah, I'm going to get to it. I've got one eye on, and controlling the shape while bending under is a little more difficult than I thought, so instead of circles I have more of like an oval shape. But I got the other one, I did end up stuffing it, so this one's got one little flap left, and all I'm going to do is just take a little bit of stuffing and stick it in there, just to give the eye a little bit more dimension. I was hoping the extra fabric would do that, but it didn't really end up doing much. And then I'll kind of show you just a little bit of how I was curling under. And then just stitching around the edge. Like so. Well, I'll finish that in just a second, but you kind of get the idea. Then I'm going to use black thread. And dropping things. And then I'm going to use black thread and just draw some like lines on it so it looks like Silkie has got its eyes closed. And then I'll show you what it looks like. I'm just probably embroidery thread would work better than like sewing thread. Okay, so Silkie's got his eyes and legs and tail and all that fun stuff. Now we just need to go and put on the mouth. And for that, what I've done is I've cut out a piece of pink fabric, and about the length that I want the mouth to be. And ooh, there it goes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the bad side, either side. I'm going to go in and then out real quick in the top, pull it through. So the knot and the needle are both on the bad side. And I go into the center of the fabric, a little higher than the center, but pretty close to the center, and in and out really quick. You can see, pull it, and then I'm going to go to the bottom and go in and out really quick. So what I have looks like that, and then I'm going to pull it tight. And I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. Now I'm going to go in the center, up to the top, pull it tight, the center, top, pull it tight, over and over and over again. Alright, so I finished. I've got little lips. I'm going to attach them onto Silkie, and I'm going to try to kind of make it into a slight smile. Happy little Silkie beast. And then we'll be finished. And all I'm going to do is just go through, let me see here, let me center it. Okay, I'm going through the tights fabric and then through the back of the lips, and then that's how I'm going to attach them, just over and over. So I put the mouth on, and now Silkie is finished. Got all his little legs, his pinching tail. He's not as fat as I was trying to get him, but he's still cute, and I made him out of a pair of old tights. Woo! Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope your Silkies turn out awesome, and thank you guys so much for watching. So please comment, subscribe, like, all that jazz, and I will see you whenever I post another video.